this on silent. And we're live. On the Terror Firma TV this week, I'm joined by Jarrod FInn.
Hey, guys.
Jarrod's on to make an announcement, so let's get to it, Jarrod. We'll start off with that.
Oh, just straight right into the announcement.
Straight right into it. That's the way we do it.
I could have bought me dinner before screwing me over. I've been on a couple, one or two times, I believe, with you, Drew, previously to discuss horror and to discuss my previous project, Empowered. But I am the owner-operator of Malachi Entertainment here in the good old state of Illinois, and we are, as another one of our first big projects, are putting on a horror festival, film festival, independent horror film festival, accepting submissions from all over the country, and definitely locally. It's going to be about a 4.5-hour slot of time, and we're just really looking for original independent horror films. The thing is, Drew knows that when it comes to horror, I can be a bit of a wuss. But I can understand and appreciate the art that goes behind horror filmmaking. And what I want to do is provide an opportunity for local film lovers to enjoy that art that particularly love horror, because we used to have a film festival, a big horror film festival, and they moved and there hasn't been much for a couple of years, and I wanted to fill those shoes. And it's like, I know there are local people that love horror, so we're taking submissions, and we plan on showing a live screening of all the films here in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois on October 28th, just in time for Halloween.
Yep, and we actually have some questions already that are related to the subject at hand, which is a crazy notion for this show. People want to know, how do they submit films and what is the deadline?
The website is, well, I don't know. So I have a public listing via Film Freeway. I've provided Drew with the link.
Yep.
He can send that out however you want, but the horror festival is called, and because I love puns and a friend helped me come up with this, our town is called Champaign, CHAMPAIGN, so we're calling it the Champaign, PAIN, Indie Horror Fest. So you can search for it on Film Freeway. You can follow the link that Drew will provide. You can follow Malachi Entertainment on Facebook, and we are getting the Facebook page for the Horror Fest going. But the initial deadline is September 15th. That's first regular deadline. Fees for entering is $15 US for the general public, $10 US for students, for student filmmakers, and that includes high school filmmakers. So high school, college filmmakers, you get a $5 discount. And then bar none, we are not making any exceptions. Final deadline is October 2nd. The fee for that is $25 to the general public and $20 to student filmmakers.
Awesome. One of the questions was, where's it taking place? But you've already said that. Another one, who are the judges involved?
Who are the what?
The judges of the films involved in the festival.
I thought you said jobgies, and I'm like, what the fuck?
The fuck is a judgy?
This term I've never heard in my life before. Currently, obviously me as the director. Yours truly, Drew, is a judge. We don't really have, I think Drew is probably the biggest name that we have so far as a judge, but I don't know if that's saying much. I'm kidding. But we have a local a local filmmaker named Brian Hagee, who is a judge. Most of the judges are normal horror fans. So him, my former casting director, and horror aficionado Lee Kaiser. I have a good friend of mine that is not a horror fan and want kind of an outsider perspective. Her name's Mandy Huffman, and she was the graphic designer that designed stuff for. She actually designed the logo for the Horror Fest, and I think there's another judge. I'm getting old, so yeah. And there's one other judge that we're trying to get in, but just waiting on her to finalize that. But yeah, those are. I am not a true horror fan, in that I don't know every single little thing, but I always bring in people that can fill in where maybe I lack. So Drew's expertise. And then I have my other Brian, who is a director and a producer in cinematography and can give some insight into that. And then Mandy, who's very much a digital artist can give insight there, and then me as a writer and producer and all that. So it's just like where it's really Drew can attest to this, but we've broken down judging into like 10 different categories.
Yeah.
And each category is rated out of 10. And then that's averaged. And right now we're discussing, I haven't talked to you this, Drew, about like if a film scores 8.0 or higher, it's automatically like a semifinalist. And then if we can't fill all of it, we go in. And so virtually anything that scores, I think, a 7.5 or higher will be filmed. I want everyone to be tough critics. And I think the only two things that I talked to Drew about or said is that we will not accept anything that has extreme exploitation, anything that resembles a snuff film, and no graphic nudity. It's not, I mean, if there's context for it, it's not going to disqualify you. But if you're trying to pass off a horribly made porn movie as a horror movie, yeah, no, you'll be disqualified immediately.
Yeah. They're thinking more along the lines of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and less along the lines of Texas Dildo Massacre.
I haven't heard of the second.
I think I might just have made it up.
Oh,
I think that's a working title there.
Let me go get some more caffeine. But nothing in the lines of Eli Roth, and like Hostel. I think he just makes those movies to get himself off. And that's just my opinion. I know there are fans of Eli Roth, and I don't want to, push people away. But like movies like Hostel or Human Centipede, like anything like that, no, that is not horror. That's just gore and graphic torture for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But I will say that what I really love and what I'm kind of looking for is writing and filmmaking that uses your imagination against you. So
for me, the key to an actually good horror film is always the story.
Yes.
It's not what can you do with special effects or what can you do that's not been done before with gore. It comes down to the story. A lot of the horror films that people remember as being incredibly gory that aren't, like Halloween, which has very little, has a good story. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a lot of it's implied gore rather than actual gore. Psycho's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You never actually see her get stabbed. It's all just close-ups of her and the knife. I think that is lost in this generation of filmmaking.
I agree. the Scream trilogy. I've said this before on your podcast. Scream trilogy is a phenomenal trilogy, but I think that's what pushed this generation of horror in that other direction. Maybe not intentionally. I don't think it was intentional.
Yeah.
But it did. Unfortunately, it did.
Yeah, it's subject like that handled by someone other than Wes Craven always is going to go to the gore extreme because they can't tell the story the same way. See any other? Oh, are there any filmmaker names that have submitted films that we would recognise as fans of the Terror Firma podcast? Well, they'll recognise Jeff.
Yeah, they will. Jeff Karinski has submitted a film, which if it makes it, I think the fans of Terror Firma would love it. It's like I'm dancing this fine line. It's like I want everything to be like a secret, not necessarily a secret, but I don't want to reveal too much to show that, you know, I might be playing favorites, because I'm not. But Jeff has submitted a film. There has been a film that submitted by someone else. I guess this isn't anyone that would be recognized by Terra Firma, but that deals with my biggest fear, and that's clowns. So there's some creative stuff so far, and that shouldn't make anyone hesitate. Just submit your asses off. And I forgot to mention, it doesn't have to be anything that's been made recently. If you have this horror film that you love that you made 15 years ago, submit it. I'm not discriminating against any of the older horror stuff. I know there are festivals that you can only submit something made within the last year. Fuck that.
Yeah.
We just want a good, fun horror festival.
One of the questions people are asking is, does the film have to be a certain length, or like, this is incredibly poorly? Does it have to be a short film or a feature film is basically what they're asking.
Short film, I think I said it no longer than 25 minutes. Let me double check on that.
I think that's what I remember you saying previously.
There's, let's see. Luckily, I'm glad I pulled up the website so I can. Where the fuck is it?
Google's always your friend when it comes to these things.
Okay, so no minimum length, no minimum. I mean, don't submit a 30-second short. I know that I want to appease those that there are those that believe, you know, you can make an amazing 2-minute horror film. So I don't want to keep anyone that makes a 2-3 minute horror film that's amazing out of you know, having any chance of being in the festival, but no longer than 25 minutes. Because I want it to be fair to everyone else that wants to submit. Because if we get, even if it's really good, I mean, if we get 120, well, I don't know what I'm saying. I didn't want to get like one really, 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 really good 45-minute feature length and then feature film, and then it shorten and compact the opportunity for really good, you know, other really good shorter films to be submit to get into the festival. So 25 minutes max. I really didn't set a minimum, but I would say try to, as long as it's 2 minutes or more, you should be fine. We won't disqualify you for submitting something under 2 minutes. If you submit a 1:30 long short film and it's fucking fantastic, we're gonna put it in. But a lot of us are really looking for good story. I want a festival filled with good horror movies with good stories.
Yeah, I saw on YouTube a short film. I don't know how it took the guy 6 months to make it, but it lasted 95 seconds, and it's called Lost Cell, and it's literally someone having a panic attack trying to find their cell phone when it's ringing, which sounds terrible, but it was actually quite well done because it's you find out it's the guy who's waiting to hear about his wife because she's due to have a baby, and he's like overseas, so it's this weird.
Oh wow!
So it's actually really well done the way it comes together at the end, but it's like literally 80 odd seconds of it is like this is just a guy looking for a cell phone.
Yeah,
payoff. So if you can actually do that, that's impressive, but I doubt that happens very often.
Yeah, if you can make a 90-second film and you can hit every note of a perfect story with climax, payoff, all of that, you're going to get featured in our festival. But you're going to have to be a fan-frickin-tastic filmmaker to do that.
Yep. There was someone asking, I think they might have came into this a bit late, so they're asking where the venues are and where they can get tickets.
Tickets, if you want to make it out to Champaign-Urbana, the venue is called the Urbana-Champaign Independent Media Center. It's a local center that helps with creatives and those in the media community, and it's a nonprofit where they help you to foster social change and growth in community through media. So it's in downtown Urbana. It's a hop, skip, and a jump, literally a half a block from a free parking garage, a lot of free parking around that, public transportation, but tickets can be bought at I've set up tickets for purchase on the Film Freeway festival listing, so you can get tickets there until I think I set it the day of, and we'll also be selling tickets at the door. So tickets are $10 for adults, $7.50 for students, high school, college, grad school. If you have a valid student ID and you can prove it at the door, you'll get it for $7.50. $5 for children. Yes, we are welcoming children because we know that kids under 13 can be horror aficionados also. And then $5 for senior citizens. So on the festival listing on Film Freeway and at the door.
That's awesome. So what would be your biggest piece of advice for someone looking to submit a film to the festival?
Don't be nervous. Yes, we're judging films to decide what we want to accept and to screen, because we can't show everything. My goal is to eventually make this a 3-4 week long festival and bring in panels and bring in guests and all that to talk about, but that's several years down the road. But just do it. Just submit. I've been there too. I've been there with my scripts. I've been there with ideas. And the hardest part is just pressing submit. Just press submit. Go out on a limb. You never know what's going to happen. What I can say that as an artist myself, that we are our harshest critics. It's because we're so close to our own work that we can't see anything but the flaws that we perceive there to be, because we've been so close to it. But what you think might be shit may be genius to someone else. So don't let your fear get in the way of submitting, because we may love it. Drew may love it. It may have a hissy fit and threaten to choke me to death with haggis if we don't put it in the festival. But just do it. Submit. Don't be afraid. And it's just, and we're not gonna, if the film doesn't make it, it's not gonna be, hey, your film was shit. It's gonna be like, hey, thank you for submitting. Unfortunately, we did not choose it, but we are really grateful for you to step out on this limb and to try this and submit it. And if it's something we really like and it just missed the festival, we may hold on to it for next year's festival. So
yeah, that's the good thing about not having has to have been made in the last year.
Yeah.
No. You can reapply the next year.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but
well, before I let you go, as let's say on this week, it's a double header. We've got you on the podcast, obviously this bit here, and I'm also doing a review of Beetlejuice because that seems to be the fan favorite choice. So, what's your thoughts on that film?
Oh God, that is my childhood. It's people are very I guess it's hit or miss for some people, but I think Beetlejuice is one of the movies that demonstrates Michael Keaton's acting at its best.
Yeah.
And his skill. It's just, I know it's not the 100 characters that Robin Williams played in the genie in Aladdin, but it's showing Michael Keaton at his best and just this range, and young Winona Ryder when she could still act. Other than Stranger Things. But it seems like many child actors, she hit like a wall and then couldn't get past it. But I love it. It's, I think, one of the best mashups of comedy and supernatural and horror that you can come up with. And of course it produced one of my favorite cartoons as a child.
Yeah. I think the wall that Winona Ryder ran up against was the mall cop that caught her shoplifting.
Oh, good Lord. It wasn't Mr. Deeds?
It's a bad day when that was our comeback film from that. It's like,
that was her comeback.
My career's gone tits up because I've got shoplifting, so I'm going to be in an Adam Sandler movie. That'll save me.
Well, then she was decent in Star Trek. As mother, of course. But yeah, I guess you really didn't need great acting range to play her character in Beetlejuice. Being her is just emo.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess Heathers is a sequel to Beetlejuice because she's playing just the older version of her character.
Yeah. Don't you think? Yeah, don't you see it? Yeah. She pretty much just does the same in everything, though, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She could literally be playing any character and she just plays herself.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of people that make a lot of money doing that.
Will Smith,
yeah.
Will Smith as the genie in the live-action Aladdin.
That's going to be full of personality.
Yeah. Or Will Smith as Deadshot.
Yep.
But any more questions? I was trying to look for where people were asking questions.
I get a lot of email submissions because I send out who's coming on the shows at what time, and a lot of people just email me the questions. it's the benefit of having an email subscriber list. So if you want to be able to actually ask any questions, if you're sitting there going, I want to ask questions, send your emails to drew.carson@terrorfirma.net. And I also accept death threats because I get a lot of them as well. So
nice.
Yep.
Have you gotten mine yet?
Only daily. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me on, Drew.
Yeah, it's been great talking to you.
Thank you. You have a good day, guys.
Yeah.